Okay, we're back again. Okay, so we got that all fixed. Take that off. So now we can do our lock tabs on here. Now you can put them on right now, or you can put them back in the vise and do it in the vise. Doesn't really matter how you do it. You can beat on these with a hammer, or you can use a pair of channel locks, or whatever works for you. I like doing it in the vise. You have less chance of bending stuff in the vise. So pull this off. Rotate the gear over a little bit. There we go. And the vise holds it. Get our channel locks. Channel locks do not beat on anything, so it doesn't damage things. Go like that. We're not bending anything to make it work. This one here, same thing. And a vise. A bit lower so you can see what I'm doing. So use this part here to do the bending, not the far side. Less chance of hurting yourself. This one, the lock tab's over here, and you lightly pull with the handle toward me to make it fold over like that. Alright, so that did the vise. Always put a gap in the vise here so you don't pinch yourself, because the vise has clearance. Put your hand go like that. When it's close, it'll pinch your hand and put a blood blister. So if you have it like right here, see how it goes to 0? That means it'll pinch your ass. If you put your hand finger like that and shove on it, it'll get you. If you tighten your vise handle like that, every time you walk by it, this handle jams you and doesn't move. So if you open the vise up and make it so it can't pinch you, and this moves when you hit it, it doesn't hurt you. See, that's how you do your vise. Simple stuff. Most people tighten the damn things up, or they put them really close. I don't know why, but I don't like either one of those two directions. Okay, so we got that in there now. So those are all set. So now we gotta look at our shaft. We gotta look at this O-ring and determine if we want to put glue on it or put a new one in there. This thing is pretty damn hard. It's probably been in there for a long time. You'll see with glue on it. So usually I take it out and put a new one in there and it shears it all off, and it's probably worse than I started. But we're going to do that anyway because I want to do that. So a little pick, scribe. One of these right here works good for that. It also makes you bleed when you poke this through your finger. So get underneath the thing like that. Just kind of roll it around. It's like taking a tire off a rim. Oop. And you can see how that's not very even all the way around. It's because it's been sheared off. Now these are the rectangular ones. They have round ones and rectangular ones. Camera's way too close. Probably blown up. Okay, these supposedly are the right ones, and these are clutch cable seals. So the first thing I'm going to see is the difference in size. Okay, the clutch cable seal will not work. That's for a cable style clutch. 87 and up. Okay. So these are the O-rings, which came out in 80 or 81, I think. The square ones came out in 36. They ran them all the way up to 80 or 81 until they changed. Why do you think Harley went to an O-ring? There's two reasons why you go from an O-ring to an O-ring design. One is it's cheaper. Two is it actually works better. This has a square edge on it, so when you catch the square edge, it rolls on you over and then shears it off. When you hit against a radius, it can still shear off, but it might compress down and go over it. So there's a half a chance it might actually go in and work. 100% guarantee it's going to shear off the other way. Guarantee you. So I like switching to the O-rings. Okay, so the O-ring, just roll it around the edge. Roll it onto your groove. And then make sure you run your nail across it a couple times to unwind it, because as you push it in, it rolled it a little bit and it could put a twist in it. So you want to make sure you roll it around a little bit to make sure it self-centers. It's in a happy spot. Okay, now you can see how it's got some height to it. Maybe, I'm not sure. Look at it how you want to look at it. So I'm going to put goop around this thing, pack it in. I'm going to shove it through. And if we're lucky, at least half the O-ring will stay in the motor. But a lot of times it shears off half of it. I've even had to shear the whole side off. And then I take out, put another one in it. And sometimes I put the old one back in because it already goes in a hole. Sometimes I just don't want to go in. If these holes are really sharp edged on them, they really shear off badly. If you got a good radius on the edge, it works better. If you look at this one here, it actually has a little bit of radius to it. Looks like a little bit. It's not too awful bad. But you know, it'd be nice to have like a countersink in it. It would work a lot better. But even then, they still shear off. So, anyway, fun with those. Now this has a screw up here that pinches it. So you got to make sure you put that in correctly. So when you assemble this, you got to do it correctly. So here's our shaft. You can see the flat spot goes right there because that's the screw that pinches it. Now it's not just a set screw, it's a long tapered screw. The tapered screw goes in there along the edge and seals it. It drops in there in the groove right there and doesn't let it slide in and out. And then you go out and you bottom out against the edge on top and you're done. If you just have a screw in there, then it wants to dig into the edge, but it doesn't necessarily keep it from coming out. With the shaft in there, it's a dowel, it ain't coming out. Okay, so what I do is I pull these out a little bit, just like before. I'll put a little bit of lubricant as I slide in. Right now it's dry. And you can see how there's not much of a chamfer here for that to go into, so we're going to do a little deburring on the corner. Deburring tool right here. I'm going to put a little chamfer right there. Hopefully it'll help us a little bit on the assembly. Put your finger on the inside so the chips come out. Okay, there you go. See, it has a nice radius to it now, all the way around. The reason there's a radius is because this is a form tool. See how the tool has a radius built into it? This rotates in a circle as you go. You can take it and run it across a straight edge like this and deburr that edge, or you put a hole and just rotate it, and it does the same thing. Nice tool. These are made by, this one's a, which one's this one? This one's a Sean. There's also a Vargas, and there's different designs, but they're all basically the same thing. They all work the same. There's probably 5, 6 different variations of them that I know about. Okay, so that puts a nice radius, so hopefully it'll go into the hole without shearing the rubber off. It probably still will, but at least I tried to. If nothing else, I got a place for the sealer to stay in there and help seal it. Okay, so we're going to put that in there like that. Put a little goop on the shaft here as we go in. So we'll lubricate our shaft there a little bit. Same thing on that side. So I probably pull it out a little bit and put some goop in there where I didn't want it, but oh well. Okay, rotate so it goes in straight. Right there. Yeah. Greasy. Lube doesn't like grease. Clean the grease off our fingers. Okay, so now get our magic goop, our 3 bond, 1184. If you can't see what that is, can't help you. I don't like silicone. Put a little bit on your finger like that. Rub it into the O-ring groove. Work it in there. You don't want no air bubble in there. You want it all goop. So just like the counter shaft, should be gooped in there pretty good. Okay. You see how it's all packed in there pretty good all the way around. No edge looking like it's sticking out. Maybe a little, good on the bottom too. Okay, we got our hole lined up here. So I'm going to shove this in. We'll have to tap it in the last until it gets across where we want it to be. And then stop. If you go too far, you put a thin punch right through this hole right here, and that pushes your shaft out. Hopefully you don't go too far. And the set screw is what determines what too far is. Whatever I did with that, I already lost it. Yeah, we put it somewhere right in front of me, I'm sure. There it is. Right in front of me where I can't see it. Put it over there. Okay, let's go ahead and run this thing through. Put it straight up and down. Ooh, damn, that light's bright. Okay, about half a slot off. Oop, damn, that went in way too far real quick. Yeah, that shaft's a little bit on the long side. Alright, screw is over here. It blinded me there. I don't think it's going to fit in there very well. Nope. It's in too deep. Thin punch. Just enough to get the screw to go in. Now, screw is not the best of shape. It's going in though. Protesting all the way. It's not happy about going in that hole at all. I think it's barely even in there all the way. Damn, that thing is tight. That thing is not a happy camper at all. Damn, that thing is not happy. Jeez. Screw's all screwed up. Now that it's in, I don't want to come out. It's not in all the way because I can rotate the shift shaft. So it's not doing its job. The screw is too screwed up to use. Now the problem is getting out of the hole. It's too screwed up to get out. There it goes. Oh, that screw is bad. That is one piece of crap screw. top of it's not a straight slot anymore, it's a butterfly. That thing's junk. I'm going to run upstairs and get a new one. I'll be right back.